Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. This is the grandest stage one can have to talk about all things telecom. I would like to welcome on stage the Department of Telecommunications Secretary, Dr. Neeraj Mittal. A big round of applause for him. He's an IAS officer, but you know what's even more impressive? His educational qualification from IIT Kanpur. He's also a PhD. He was an IAS. He started his career 35 years ago with DoT. So he's come a full circle and he comes with himself a big wealth of experience. He joined as a DoT secretary about a month back. And we're really looking forward to all the developments under him. Thank you very much, sir, for joining. How was the day, Dr. Mittal?
It's been excellent because I don't think we've had so many delegates here in any of the past. I was just checking, the last time we had about 30,000 delegates. Today we had 46,000 registrations. So it's been awesome.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. My heart swells with pride, seeing all this today. You've just taken over as a DoT secretary about a month back. And India has seen an unprecedented 5G rollout. I remember IMC 2022. It was all about ushering 5G, making India count in the league tables of 5G. IMC 2023 is all about taking that 5G mandate forward, monetizing it. We're also now talking about bringing in innovative technology, laying the foundation for innovative technology, laying the foundation for 6G. But you know, sir, as things stand today, this unprecedented 5G rollout has been led by only two companies. The government has made it very vocal that they want a thriving, competitive market. But the truth of the situation right now is that we've got two players who have run away with 5G layout. One player is yet to start its 5G rollout, and then you've got a PSU company which is now starting its 4G rollout. How do you feel about this state?
We are very proud that the two companies who have led the 5G rollout, they have done it in the fastest time ever possible. We have lakhs of towers and BTSs which have been established. To give 5G coverage to such a large population is not a joke. I don't think it has been attempted anywhere before except perhaps China. And therefore, they deserve all the applause. They are Indian companies. At the same time, I think the government also took a very conscious decision and a very bold decisions 2 years ago, saying that India shall not depend on foreign clutches for its critical core infrastructure technology. And that's when the onus was given to the consortium of DoT, Tejas and TCS to develop the 4G technology for the India, and they are very well on track. The Honorable Minister has already committed in public that very shortly this will be rolled out. We are very confident that we will not only have a 4G indigenously developed technology, both core and RAN, but we will also have 5G along with it, which will soon, fructify. So I think we are in good shape.
Okay. You took charge a month back. What would be your top 3 priorities? If we meet, again, same time next year, IMC 2024, what would have the past 1 year looked like, according to you?
The Honorable Prime Minister has, laid these priorities very clearly. Even today when he spoke, he said that, we have to have a self-reliant India in technology. Not only self-reliant, we also want the Indian technology to be part of the rest of the world. And he gave examples about how we were an importer of, mobile phones, and we have become an exporter of mobile phones. How we were importing equipment, telecom equipment, and we are also now, exporting it. If you take optical fiber, I was told some 35 million, goes out of India as exports. So we are, kind of becoming an exporter. So we want to, 1 year down the line, we would like to see India exporting in high value added, high IPR products. So that would be the benchmark. We would also like to see a lot of manufacturing happening within India of critical telecom equipment. So high-end routers, optical equipment, the software which is required to, develop. We already have an inherent strength of software in other services, but telecom software, we haven't had too much expertise. And we are very well, if you go around in IMC, you will see at least 3 or 4 companies demonstrating their 4G core, which means they have all developed it independently. So I think, these two are really critical at a macro level. But I would also like, as a third priority, that our startups become an integral part of this growth story.
So the first one is India garners a higher market share of exporting mobile phones, smartphones. The second one
and
is
telecom equipment.
And telecom equipment. I thought that was the second one.
No. So what I said was, export all these, manufacture these
critical telecom infrastructure.
And the third is to have startups becoming a critical part of this growth story.
Okay. When we talk about 5G, companies have spent and committed billions of dollars to 5G. Yet all of us are using 5G for free. Companies have not yet got the return commensurate with the investment that they've made on 5G. We don't have that killer 5G app yet. So before we think ahead and look ahead to 6G, don't we need to monetize 5G? And what is the thought process in the industry about monetizing 5G?
So on 5G, yes. I mean, if you talk to possibly in Europe, somebody, whether, they might say 5G has failed, but we are not going to let that happen in India. If you see the foresight of our Prime Minister, he announced 1 year ago that we will have 100, 5G use cases labs. I don't think anywhere in the world we have established such labs. We have established 5G, test beds in multiple places. We are working on 5G standards. There are a host of startups who are working on, 5G-led applications. If you look at the defining or distinguishing criteria between 4G and 5G, you would realize that, low latency, high reliability, massive machine-to-machine communication. These are, the defining characteristics of 5G, which cannot happen, 4G and 5G, which cannot happen in 3G networks. And, 5G. And therefore, the use cases of them are being developed as we speak by so many players who are there today. The other use case of 5G really happens in an industrial setting, and we had a CEO roundtable conference today where they said that manufacturing, if India has to become a manufacturing destination, not just telecom equipment, but general manufacturing of all kinds, and it has to compete in the world, it has to become smart manufacturing. And that can only happen with 5G deployment. And of course, there's going to be a cost to it, but I think India cannot do without doing it. So I think while there is no one killer application, there are hundreds of killer applications out there. It's a matter of time that they develop, and we will make sure that they develop.
What else was discussed at that CEO roundtable?
Well, we discussed a lot of issues. One of the things was about how to make India a manufacturing destination for the telecom equipment. And, a few things came up about what changes can be made to the policy framework, how can ease of doing business be done a little better, how can, the production link incentive scheme could be tinkered a little bit. So very valid and good suggestions were received. The other thing we discussed was about cyber security. Even during the G20, we had massive attacks on Indian IT infrastructure from abroad and from within by foreign players. And we defended all of them very vigorously. Nobody succeeded. That goes a lot to say about our capability, but there is a lot to be done. So we spoke about if there can be a unified, secure, an architecture for cybersecurity which is secure by design, zero trust. So those are the kind of things we discussed in that roundtable.
Since, a big thrust of the conversation was around manufacturing, and that's clearly your priority, make in India, make in India for the world, would we be looking to up some sort of, provide some regulatory support, financial support to enable that? We already have a PLI for manufacturing telecom equipment, but is there going to be some added policy support?
So we already have a PLI scheme. It is at about 12,195 crores for a period of 5 years. I think we have spent some 3,000 crores or something like that so far. But we intend to, so one of the suggestions there was that you are giving it for, X type of products. Can you increase it for, different kind of products? Expand the scope of the scheme. And these are the kind of suggestions we are looking forward from, forums like these, where we can make these schemes more meaningful for. Another suggestion was that, when you give a PLI, many new players are coming to use this scheme, and their scale is small. If their scale is small, if you give them a 4% or a 6% incentive or their gross revenue, that's not enough to compensate for the cost disadvantage which they may have with a big player. So I think we have money is enough. All we need to do is to tinker the scheme so that it becomes more relevant. And we look forward to, forums like these to make it more relevant.